on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Proud to be hanging out with you inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, and we are here every single Monday through Friday, like I said, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage on facebook.com/live-now-dt. And on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So, Cafe Kubal Studios, you know how to get to Cafe Kubal. If you don't, I'll tell you. 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 208 North Townsend Street, as well as 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital, and 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, where Rob and I were a week ago doing our awesome broadcast of sports and life that y'all paid attention to and gave so much love to us, and I cannot thank you enough for that. So, with that being said, today's show, beautiful broadcast, and my grandfather's lucky number, my Pop Cavino, number 13. So, May 13th here today on MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. The first hour of the show, as you know, every single Thursday is dedicated to PJ, Papa Joe. So outside of when we have those live on-site events like we had last week, you'll have Papa Joe right here in his special spot every single Thursday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Today we're talking all things Jaguars, as we typically do with PJ. We'll be talking about the NFL Draft, his thoughts on their draft picks and what they chose, as well as the NFL schedule release. What does he think about the full schedule now that we've seen it? And the Jaguars return to London and home games and away games and so much more. And we will also get into the Tim Tebow factor, as him and I have talked about this before, but now it could be a reality. So we'll discuss all of that with PJ before speaking in hour number 2 at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time with Prince-Tyson Gulley. We're supposed to have Prince on a few days back, and Prince had a schedule change, so he was gracious enough with his time to reschedule and get it all set and ready to go. He's a friend of mine and somebody that I've appreciated for a very long time, and he's a Syracuse Orange running back alum. So PTG will be joining us today to talk about sports and life in hour number 2, like I said, at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. So with all of that being stated, let's bring in the man of the hour. It is his hour every single week, and that is Papa Joe, or as you know him, Papa Joe. PJ, what's going on?
Sounds good, Daniel. I like that. Yeah, everything's all right down here. It's raining a little bit, but I think you and I are both doing the pollen thing here with our noses. So
yeah.
If I sound a little nasally today, it's because I can't help it.
Yeah, and I feel the I feel it in my throat. That's where I get it. My throat dries out, and my ears kind of feel like they're backed up. So that's how I feel this morning. I woke up like, ugh. So I'm okay. I'm here. I'm alive. And, you know, enjoying life, but definitely not a fan by any stretch of the imagination of the weather. And I mowed the lawn yesterday, and I should probably wear a mask or something when I do that, just because of all the pollen and the stuff that kicks up and all that. But yeah, I mean, besides allergies, how is my second home of Florida? I can't believe it's been a couple weeks since I've been down there, and I miss it already. So how is it?
Oh, wonderful. Still dealing through the COVID stuff. I'm not so sure we're going to see any ending to this kind of stuff anytime soon, but we've all got to pay attention to the rules that were set forth for us, and we all need to work together to get this thing out of here, because I can't stand running around this town with a mask on. I hate it. So, you know, yours truly is going to bow up here a little bit, I think. So until it's all done, I got to behave myself, though.
Yeah, you know, I'm ready for it to be done as well, and, you know, I just want people to be able to just, you know, enjoy normal life. But Disney, it's funny, when I went to Disney in February, they had rules. When I came back in April, they said, okay, we're going to stop doing this, and then I left again, and now they're going to stop doing the 6 feet apart in Disney. So it's funny how things kind of shake. It's like every time I go down there, the rules get lifted a little bit. So maybe Floridians need me to keep coming down to Florida so we can keep lifting all the rules till they're all gone.
That's good. That's good. How'd Debbie enjoy her vacation?
She was good. You know, she likes to sit. My mom has a different thought of vacation than I do. She likes to sit in the sun and just, like go out to dinner, sit in the sun. I like to go to Disney, and so my trips are a little bit different. That's relaxing for me. But we got to see you and Miss Mary T, and that means the most. And actually, we got to go to a place that, funny, we're talking on the 13th. I believe 13 years ago is when we went to that restaurant and ate at the exact same restaurant. So it's very cool that we got to do that. And I always love seeing you guys, as you know, and I'm happy that I finally could get my mom out there to do it. But it's always good to see you all. And as you and Miss Mary know, I could never see you guys enough.
All right. Okay, that's good.
So
I agree with that.
What'd you say?
I agree with that.
That coming from Papa Joe this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. We're talking all things Jaguars. There's a lot of stuff coming up. PJ and I did not talk about the reaction to the draft. So, Papa Joe, I open the door to you. The Jacksonville Jaguars have made their picks in the NFL draft, as all teams did just a couple weeks ago. And when they made those picks, Jacksonville had the beauty of having the number 1 overall pick. They also had the number 25. And when it all shook out, the Jaguars ultimately putting their team together made these things a reality. And now we know what this team could look like for the future, which is a beautiful thing here, as the Jacksonville Jaguars first overall took Trevor Lawrence, won, in the first round, and then from there went on and took Travis Etienne Jr., 25th overall in the first round, running back out of Clemson, and obviously the teammate of Trevor Lawrence. In round 2, number 33 overall, they took Tyson Campbell, a cornerback out of Georgia. Round 2, number 45 overall, they took Walker Little, an offensive tackle out of Stanford. In the third round, number 65 overall, they took my guy from Syracuse, Andre Sisco, a safety. In round 4, number 106 overall, they took Jay Tufel, a defensive tackle out of USC. Round 4, number 121 overall, they took Jordan Smith, outside linebacker out of UAB. In the 5th round, 145 overall, they took Luke Farrell, tight end out of Ohio State. And in the 6th round, number 209 overall, they took Jalen Camp, a wide receiver out of Georgia Tech. Overall, taking a look at their draft picks, what do you think?
I think it's a good draft. We're into the urban years now, and people have got to understand how you take urban. Urban has always been a extremely loyal person, and he's very close to his players, and we saw that up front with Florida. Even though he had some renegades there, he still was loved by his players, not so much by the fans, but loved by his players, and he's a good guy to play for, and we're going to find out just how good he is as a coach. He did a good job on this draft. I'm very impressed with the draft. Of course, I love Trevor Lawrence. I think he's going to be the next no-brainer. I think he's going to be the next Andrew Luck. Probably the best quarterback to come out of the draft since Andrew Luck. Etienne, how can you not love Travis Etienne pairing up with Trevor Lawrence? Can you believe this? Can you believe how fortunate that is? I mean, I'm telling you, Urban, I'll give you a little something about Urban. Urban needed a player. He wanted a player at number 25, but he couldn't get there. And that player was Kadarius Toney. He screamed to himself he wanted to get Kadarius Toney, but no one would trade up with him at all. So the reason he likes Toney so much is that he reminds them of Percy Harvin when he played for Florida and then in the pros. If one guy can change the direction of a game, it's a guy like him. It's a guy like Toney. It's a guy like, it's a guy that has speed, quickness, and smart. And he's got it all. And I'm very pleased. I can't believe that the first 2 picks are teammates. They're going to have a chemistry going in. They just have to learn the urban way of doing stuff. And what bothers me about it is a little bit is that, Rob, I don't want to see Robinson be shoved off to the sideline here. But frankly, that young man didn't save any season because Osini was kaput anyway. But he played his ass off for the Jaguars and Coach Marone. What I don't want to see is I don't want to see them throw Etienne right in there right away and just forget about what Robinson did last year.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that, Urban. Please. Etienne's going to have a chance to play. You've got to have Robinson there. He's a quintessential back. He can do it all. We learned that. He's only a kid. He's a second-year player. I know that there's going to be a pick. I would like to see them in the backfield together. Imagine that. Either a flare out to Robinson or a flare out to Etienne, no matter what it is. Lawrence will have his opportunity. The Campbell kid from Georgia, I'm glad that we got him because I didn't want to see him running around the backfield of Florida all the time. He used to kill Florida. My goodness.
Yeah.
They got not drafted, but signed Griffin. C.J. Henderson was the defensive back from Florida that was a first round of. And again, I don't want to see Campbell come in here, disrupt things, and play his game. He's got to play within the system. C.J. Henderson had a rough time. It wasn't easy for him last year. Griffin's going to start, you know that. So the other quarterback's going to be up to snuff. You said Walker Little, Stanford offensive tackle.
Yeah.
Huge man, big hand. Now we got Robinson and Taylor, who was supposed to have been the bookend
She likes
for 10 years.
to sit in the
but it's not
9 overall. They took Jalen Camp, a wide receiver out of Georgia Tech. Overall, taking a look at their draft picks, what do you think?
Robinson may not be a couple next year. We got Robinson and Taylor, who was supposed to have maybe pushing the bookends for 10 years. But it's not working out that way. I'm a little disappointed in Juwan Taylor. It looks like I thought he would assert himself. Juwan Taylor and Robinson may not be a couple this year. Both of these guys are quality guys. Don't get me wrong. Playing time. Walker Little can come in maybe. I'm a little disappointed in Juwan Taylor from Florida. You can see he would assert himself a little bit more. Little is huge. Robinson is great. Are still playing on the contract. Your man. Both of these guys are quality guys. I mean, I didn't know a thing about Cisco. But Walker Little can come in maybe and push these guys interceptions in 2 years. If you can see what a player. And you should look on this guy a lot. I did not know that Syracuse had a player as good as this kid. I didn't know a thing about this. Kid is a good. I had to look him up in the situation. 12 interceptions in 2 years. I think he's going to play. I think he's going to play a lot. And you should be one of the safeties. So, who knows what's going to happen with Andre. He's a good player. I watched some tape of him, and he is really, really fast. And have you heard me talk for months about what Urban wants? Urban wants and needs speed. He's got a speedy guy here with Cisco. I like it a lot. You got Jay Tuffalo, defensive tackle from USC. Little disappointed in Tuffalo a little bit. He opted out in 21, and 21 didn't play. So how are we going to know how good he is? Well, we don't know. We're going to have to find out. That's what training camp is all about. It's nice to see all these kids being drafted like this. I think there's 9 of them. But we know that all of these guys aren't going to hook up. And all the free agents that they signed, this is a tough time of the year. They got 90 players just about when they start their season. So it's going to be a difficult time for Urban to sit down and figure out with his coaches who's the best player that's going to play. And Urban has said, if you can play, you can play. I don't want to hear any moping and groaning or anything like that. If I say you're going to play, you're going to play, and you need to play up to your level. And yet that's what he'll demand it from these guys. He's a very demanding coach. All right, we got Jordan Smith out of UAB, an outside linebacker. Defense is kind of tough to figure right now because there's so many players that are going to be looking for spots. We only know that Allen is the only edge guy we got that can rush. Apparently this kid is supposed to be a good one off the line, so we'll see how good he is. They got Luke Farrell, Ohio State. I heard you mention him at tight end.
Yep.
Well, join the crowd. There's 5 tight ends. So who's going to make the cut? I don't know much about Farrell, but I'm sure he came from Ohio State, so he played for Coach Meyer, and Coach Meyer trusts him. So that's what's going to happen. You got Jalen Camp, Georgia Tech wide receiver. Now I'm going to tell you something right now. You heard it here with Papa J. Camp will play on the offense this year. They're not going to screw around with him, put him on special teams and things like this. This kid is 6'2", runs a 4.43 40. Who does that remind you of? Chalon. LaVisca Chenault. This is a clone of Chenault. You got these two guys that are that big and that strong and that fast and that mean. Camp's going to find a spot. I love them. I just love them. So we just knock these out, and it's fun to talk about them. And it's just there's really not a lot to talk about now because the camps haven't started. We don't know what's going to happen, who's going to get hurt, who's going to get dropped out, who's not going to make, who's going to do this, who's going to do that. So I think that all in all, the draft was extremely successful. I think that the Jaguars and their staff should be very proud of what they did. Now they got to put it on the field.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's a look around the league with PJ, and I appreciate you taking that look and taking that time because there is so much to come from this draft for Jacksonville, and I agree with you. I believe Jalen Camp's going to make the team. And so, that's something where, and there you go. I mean, we said it here first. He was a sixth-round pick, and we believe he's going to make it. So, I think, obviously, Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne Jr., having them together is an amazing thing. I mean, and what did I say to you before the draft started? I said, if, by some stretch of the imagination, Travis Etienne is still there when the Jaguars draft at 25, you got to take him. You have to take him because it's a great 1-2 punch. They know each other. They can help each other, and it's got to be done. It's got to be done. If he was there, it was a no-brainer. I said I don't think Urban can help himself if he's still there, and he didn't, and I'm happy that he didn't because he shouldn't have. This is a great move. You take your quarterback, you bring him into the NFL, and you get him comfortable with his, you help him acclimate himself into the NFL by giving him his teammate. What better security blanket than having a guy in the backfield who you had in the backfield for the last bunch of years? I mean, the entire time that you're there, he's there with you, he's helping you, and he's moving you along. So I think it's great as far as the maturation process and to get them both comfortable with one another. It's always different when you go through it with somebody that you care about and somebody that you know, and they know each other's tendencies, they know what they're going to do, and I think it's great to have them together because, again, they're extremely talented, and they help each other bridge the gap of moving on to a higher level. With that being said, I agree with you wholeheartedly that they can't forget about James Robinson. James Robinson saved them last year. Now, the record's not going to show it, but what he did for that team, first and foremost, if you were a fantasy football owner and you owned him, like me, you were very, very, very happy in knowing that he would bail you out of a ton of different weeks. He did a tremendous job. He scored points. The funny thing is, he would have if Jacksonville would lose, he had 2 touchdowns. Jacksonville would lose, he'd have over 100 yards. Sometimes he'd have both. And the way that he plays his game, I mean, this man never gave up. He almost won Rookie of the Year by being an undrafted free agent out of Illinois State. So a perfect play by him, in my opinion, because of the fact that nobody expected anything out of him, and he gave them so much. So to expect nothing and gain, everything that he was willing to give was a wonderful, wonderful thing for the Jaguars. And to me, he was their bright spot. He was their consistent bright spot on the team. He was the guy that they could lean on, the guy that they could trust in, the guy that they could really appreciate. And I love the way that he plays his game. I love his heart. I love how hard he fights, and I don't want them to overlook that now that they have Travis Etienne. So my hope is that they use them both. My hope is that James Robinson, the role that he earned on Marone's team, that Urban Meyer will not do what some coaches do when they come in, and that's like they get their guys, so they forget about everybody else's guys. And sometimes they won't play a talented guy, not because they're not talented, but because it's not their guy. They didn't recruit that guy, they didn't draft that guy, they didn't bring that guy in. So it's almost like they don't want to give the other coach credit by playing that guy. That's total BS. They need to play him. They need to get him out there. And I look forward to it because he deserves it. He's worked for it. And again, he was the only bright spot last year on this team. So I love the pick. I love that ETN is there. I think it is great. You got two Clemson guys. Can't go wrong with that. You got two guys that barely lost their entire time at Clemson. You can't go wrong with that. Again, helping each other by knowing each other and that maturation process being easier because of that connection. You can't, there's no other way to simulate that. So it's a great pickup. And then, like you said, going out and getting a guy like, Tyson Campbell and bringing him into this team. I mean, you're building depth in your secondary. They did it with Cisco and they did it with Campbell. And I think it's great because there's guys that have stepped up on Jacksonville's team. And there's guys that have done a good job filling in these last couple of years without Jalen Ramsey. And the guys that have really worked to fill things in, they need that depth. I think the best thing that we're seeing in this draft is that this is a Jacksonville Jaguars team that's not resting on the laurel. They're not resting on, okay, we have Cam Robinson and Juwan Taylor. Yeah, well, we're going to go get Walker Little. Okay, well, we have Gerard Wilson and we have Shaquille Griffin. Yeah, but we're going to go get Andre Cisco. You know what I mean? It's we have C.J. Henderson. Yeah. And Trey Herndon, who filled in very well in the absence of Jalen Ramsey. But we're going to go get Tyson Campbell. I think what this team has done in free agency, where they had a ton of money, over almost $75 million, 74.9, having the most money and having the number one pick and having a bunch of draft picks, 2 in the first and 2 in the second, you couldn't afford to lose in this. The Jaguars couldn't afford to make a bad decision because they had prime real estate. So it's like, are they going to build Disney World on their real estate, or are they going to build a dingy restaurant that has cockroaches on the walls? That's, they have to make that decision. And I think the picks that they brought in, getting Jordan Smith to be another linebacker on the team where they've needed help, going out and putting themselves in a position at secondary when it comes to safety and corner to bring somebody in. Bringing in Walker Little because you got Will Richardson that's backing up multiple positions on the offensive line right now, so that's a good thing to do. And then having ETN with James Robinson, I hope that's a 1-2 punch, so that's another good thing to do. And in free agency, they went and got a bunch of receivers like Marvin Jones Jr. and Philip Dorsett and Jamal Agnew and whatnot, and now they have Jalen Camp in the draft. So I think Jacksonville assessed the situation at quarterback. They assessed the situation on defense. They did things that I think they needed to do, and they built depth within the team, which I think is a beautiful thing because that's one thing that they have not had in a long time.
Well, you're right. I mean, you think about it, Robinson and Etienne, they're sort of like the same kind of bat. They're shifty, they're strong. They're not overly big or anything like that. They're just strong. Yeah. And I think that you're going to see a 1-2 combination here. We're very happy with it. They both of them don't need to gain 1,000 yards or so. Hey, if they gain 400 or 500 yards each or something like that, there's nothing wrong with that. Ball control. You're going to get a good look at how Urban does his work. He's going to have to cut some guys, which he doesn't like to do. As I told you, I've said it many times. He loves his players. Very emotional guy with his players. He can get carried away sometimes, but he's going to be. He can't wait to get started, and I can't wait for him to get started. I want to see what he's going to do. I mean, sure, he's going to pare things down, and it's going to be a difficult job. I mean, how do you got 90 guys in camp, and you got to get down to 53 or 55, whatever the number is. I mean, these guys break their ass all year long, and for a career, they try to make it in the NFL, and sometimes they don't make it. They get in there, and they just can't cut it. It's not they don't try. Not they're not any good. It's there's other players playing better than they are. So, but I love the Camp kid. I read about him and I said, gee, this kid's got to be a winner. This kid's going to be a LaVisca Chenault number 2. That's what's going to happen with him. And I know, and I said this earlier, I know that Urban was after Tony. I guarantee he was after that. He loves that kind of player. I said he loves speed, and Tony can break a game open. And he was begging himself, don't anyone take Tony, please. And someone did that with round number 20. So And I thought maybe he would trade up for him or trade down for him or trade for him at the end of the draft, but no such thing. Look, he's got plenty of players. He doesn't need Tony. He's got plenty of players. We got Sharp, Dorsett, Jones, Hammond, Goodwin, Chenault, and now you put Camp in that situation.
Yeah.
You got some good competition there, let me tell you.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. You can't pass. I mean, when Tony was picked up at 20 and Jaguars had 25, again, I said it. I said if the Jets don't make the right decision and get ETN, and they actually traded up in the draft, so when they traded up in that, I was like, if they don't get ETN and he's still sitting there, you got to take him. I said that before the draft, that Jacksonville, if he's there, you can't pass on him. And they didn't. And I think it'll pay off dividends for them in the future. And if for nothing else, it helps Trevor Lawrence get more acclimated and it helps him to be comfortable. And, when it comes to the locker room, I told you about locker room problems and all those guys are gone. When it comes to the locker room and it comes to, who you're kind of, spending your time with and coming in with, it's like going to camp in any world. As Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence get ready for camp, I went to camp with my buddy James every summer. When we went to camp to play basketball, it's a security blanket to know that no matter, even if we're on the same team or not, at least he's there at camp with me. We can still have pizza together. We can still sit together. We can experience it together. There is nothing that can simulate that. And, how you are going in with people that you know to any situation, as well as being in a situation where, you know each other and you know your tendencies. There's nothing better than having something like that, and knowing the fact that both of these guys are super talented is going to be awesome. So, with that being said, PJ and I are going to take a step aside for a fast break. When we come, we'll be talking about the schedule release and what do we think about the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're returning back to London and everything else. Coming up right after this, where Sports Meets Life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop. mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, the two places where you're listening on live internet streaming radio, and you're listening and watching on video on Facebook Live on facebook.com/livenowdt and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So however you're connecting with the show, thank you so much for being a part of Wake Up Call. And my apologies, as it is Allergy City. You would think that I'm Superman and there's kryptonite somewhere in this house, but I'm happy to be here, happy to be with you, and I hope you're having a fantastic morning this morning inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Cafe Kubal, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 208 North Townsend Street, where Kubal Co-works is, where you can rent out a spot for your business if you need a place to go to make your phone calls and get things done and have meetings and whatnot, as well as the podcasting headquarters. It's there on 208 North Townsend Street. So they have the cafe, they have the Kubal Co-works, and the podcasting headquarters, and they can edit your video and audio and do all that help for you. And of course, they're on 401 South Salina Street, each of those locations in Syracuse, inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital, and on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius. So go fill your cup with your favorite stuff today at Cafe Kubal and support local. PJ and I are talking inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', and we spoke about the Jaguars draft. Now we're speaking about the Jaguars schedule release, and you know what, folks? I'm actually going to bring up the slide here in just a second as PJ and I talk about it. But the Jacksonville Jaguars, remember, folks, there's an extra week to the season. In that extra weeks of the season, we used to have 17 weeks but 16 games. Now we have 17 games and 18 weeks. PJ, let's start there before we get into the schedule. What are your thoughts on the NFL making the decision with the Players Association to extend the season to 17 games?
It's all related to money. It's always a financial decision. Never mind the players, they get hurt or anything like that. They're greedy. They want another game, and they got it. And the union gave it to them, and everyone's going to be happy for it because more guys are going to be able to play, and we get to watch them another week. I noticed that they start out at Houston.
Yeah.
And I'm not so sure that I wouldn't want to be around Houston right now about what's happening with their quarterback.
Yeah.
It is. I can't believe what I'm reading about this guy. I thought Deshaun Watson was the epitome of a college player. Good-looking, well-spoken, tough guy, and a hell of a player. What does he got to do? He's got to go out and screw around with women. Now they got a million lawsuits against him. This man, Daniel, in the period of a month or 6 weeks, is probably going to lose $200 or $300 million because he got his dick in his way. I don't understand that. How can someone as well brought up as him, who looks as well as he does and speaks as well as he does, how can he put himself in that position? So what, that now it's not only his position, it's Houston's position. What is the GM going to do? What's the president? What's the owner going to say? Are they going to say, Deshaun, let's come on up to the office. Let's talk about this. You didn't really do this here. You didn't really do this here, did you? Well, yeah, he did. And I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know why the league is dragging their feet on this, because they should have done something. They should have suspended him as soon as they started hearing things. I know we're innocent until we're proven guilty, but he had not only 1 or 2 or 5 or 8, over 20 women that brought charges against him.
Yeah.
Now, if he's so smart and he's such a good player, how did he get himself in this situation? I mean, if you want to go out and get a piece of voodoo somewhere, I mean, you can do that without having to berate a young lady and try to talk her into doing things she's not supposed to do or doesn't want to do. I'm very upset about that, and I don't know how that's going to play out with Houston, but the very first game of the year is if Urban can see this, he can sense it. If they're down and Deshaun Watson is still our quarterback and they still haven't come up with anything, Jackson wins that game at Houston.
And that's the thing. I mean, how Deshaun Watson has fallen. I mean, I covered him in Clemson. I covered him when he was at the Camping World Stadium when the ACC championship was moved for a year to Orlando from Charlotte. And so, I mean, I've not sat in a room with this guy personally at like a club or one of those events and whatnot, but I have spent time around him professionally. And so, it's for me, it kind of hits because all I've ever heard about Deshaun Watson's been good. So, to see this happening is it's sad for everybody involved. It's sad for the families. 22 women have sued him. 22, like you said, over 22 altogether. And the NFL's former counsel for operations and litigation, Jody Balsam, said, quote, "It only takes one case to justify discipline. So even if they can come to no determination after 20 cases, but in one case it's a clear episode of some form of sexual assault or harassment, that's enough for them to impose discipline. They don't have to resolve every single factual dispute in every single case to justify discipline," end quote. So, she's basically saying, listen, Jody's saying the reality of it all is if any of these 22 cases, but one of them has any type of clarity on sexual harassment or assault in any way, shape, or form, that the NFL can discipline Deshaun Watson. Are you surprised that they haven't done it already? Are you appreciative of the fact that he's innocent until proven guilty? I mean, in the world we live in today, sometimes people go where the media goes. They go where social media goes. So Deshaun Watson's out there. 22 people accuse him, whether he's guilty or not. They make a quick decision because they want to have good PR in the NFL. Are you happy, not happy? What do you think about the fact that the NFL and the Houston Texans have basically sat back and let this thing take its course instead of taking an immediate action of doing what's happened to some players like Kareem Hunt, where they immediately, just cut him from the team and whatnot, and Aaron Hernandez, let him go when everything was going on. So are you surprised or not surprised by the fact that the Texans and the NFL have not come down hard on Watson yet, and they're kind of letting the actual information come out as opposed to what's happened in the past where some businesses just want to look good PR-wise and they make a quick decision?
Well, I mean, they have to. The league has to do their due diligence, and I'm sure they've already done it. There's no reason why Deshaun is still on this football team. There's no reason for him to be on this football team. There's no reason he should be the leader of this team. There's no reason he should be the great quarterback that he is. He's made some serious errors in judgment, and he's going to have to pay for it. And the league has got to own up and say, listen, he F'd up. We got to take care of this sooner or later. Let Houston go out and find another quarterback. Deshaun, clear up your problems. We'll let you back in the league. That's all they got to do. But again, we're a nation where we're innocent until proven guilty. But if these cases come to trial or even come to court, it's going to be a mess. He's got a highfalutin lawyer down there who's probably twisting these things all over the place. I don't know how you can justify saying that, well, maybe he made a mistake one or two times, or maybe he got a little aggressive with this lady here. And 22 women. Can't happen. I look for the Jaguars to win that first game at Houston, get the season off to a good start.
Yeah, I got the schedule up here on Facebook Live and on YouTube Live as well, so you can see it while we address it. The ones that are obviously in white that are more clear are the home games. The ones that are in teal and faded a little bit are away games. The Jaguars preseason, because they added a regular season game, they're taking away a preseason game, which is great. Take away one that doesn't count, give one that does count. However, for the players that are trying to make the team, that may be the third, fifth, sixth string running back or safety, it hurts to not have the preseason. So there is, the positives and negatives of both, but having a game that counts an extra week, and for the Jaguars specifically, since nobody's been in London more than them, giving up a home game happens every year. They go from 8 to 7. Well, with the extra week, They have 9 home games. They give up 1 to London. They have 8. So they have the same amount of home games as everybody else, and they still get to go to London. So the Jaguars definitely positive there. They start off the season at Houston, as PJ said. Then they have home against Denver, who is trying to figure out their quarterback situation still. Copy and paste that from the last 3 to 5 years. The Arizona Cardinals have Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins and A.J. Green now from Cincinnati coming into town. Going to be an interesting thing to see Arizona do their thing. And then the Cincinnati Bengals will be on the road as Trevor Lawrence will go up against Joe Burrow. Pretty cool. And then we have the Titans coming into town for another 2-game home stint, the Titans and the Dolphins. Titans coming in with Derrick Henry and company and a defense that continues, in my opinion, to improve. The Miami Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa, will be coming into town as well. And then in Jalen Waddle. Then the Jaguars will be going on the road to Seattle to face off against Russell Wilson. They'll be home against the Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and all of the talent there. Matt Milano coming back, and a lot of awesome guys on that team.
That'll be a hell of a game there, boy.
That is. And then they have the Colts, and I think it's the first time the Buffaloes come there since they lost in the wild card playoff game to Jacksonville that I covered that was 10-7 that year when my guy Shamarko Thomas was on the team for the Buffalo Bills. The Colts are an away game the first time around in week number 10, and so they'll be playing against the new-look Colts. Then they'll get the San Francisco 49ers, and in week 11, I don't know if they're going to see Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance at quarterback, but they'll see them then. Then the Falcons, they'll have the Niners at home, which is great because Jacksonville does not travel well to the West Coast. They'll have the Falcons at home with Kyle Pitts from the Florida Gators, PJ's Gators. He'll be coming in to face off against the Jaguars. We'll see what he looks like. The Rams will be on the road, and that will be them going up against Matt Stafford and the new-look Rams. Then they get the Titans again. They get the Texans at home, and then they get the Jets and the Patriots on the road. So they'll go up against number 1 pick will go up against number 2 pick, Trevor Lawrence against Zach Wilson in MetLife against the Jets. And then with the Patriots, we could see Trevor Lawrence go up against Mac Jones. And in the final game of the season, in the regular season for Week 18, the first Week 18 ever in the NFL, they'll have the Colts at home. So PJ, they got 1 on the road, they got 2 at home. So they have a bunch of series where they have 2 at home, 2 at home, and 2 at home. They have that 3 times where they have back-to-back home games. What do you think about being in so close to Jacksonville? Denver, Arizona, Tennessee, Miami, Buffalo, San Fran, Atlanta, Houston, and Indianapolis. What do you think about the home series for the Jaguars?
Love it. I can't wait till the season to start. I'm so close down here. I read everything that goes on. You know, there's only so much you can read about the draft and the team and stuff like that. And still, until things start getting moving, and Urban starts doing his Meyerisms, you know, it's going to take shape, and he's going to. I'll guarantee you this, Daniel. His team will be ready to play the very first game at Houston.
Yeah.
There's only 3 preseason games. We know that, but he's going to have some tough practices. But it's going to be tough against Houston. It's going to be a great game to start with.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome to see this season finally kick off and get to see an 18-week season, and the fact that the Jaguars are going to London when they face off against Miami right before my birthday on October 17th. So, like I said, considered a home game, but they're going to be in London for that. Jacksonville going up against the Miami Dolphins in London right after on October 10th. The Jets do that against the Falcons. So, pretty cool to see that. Very happy to see that they're going to London. It's one of the first travel things that we'll all see as a world of people actually doing that. So I think that that's pretty awesome to see that happening because it could shine a light on international travel being open again, which would be nice. Which would be nice to see and be able to do that. I know you and Miss Mary like going to Italy. I would love to go to Italy and the Sudan and Spain and a lot of places I want to go to. So I'm very excited about that opportunity, and hopefully that can happen. Speaking of opportunity, there could be the opportunity of Tim Tebow being a Jacksonville Jaguar finally. PJ and I talked about it years ago We gave our reasoning for it then. We'll give our reasoning for it now after Tim Tebow worked out with the Jaguars. We'll discuss that right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand butter chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcall. DT, hope you're having yourselves a tremendous morning this morning and having a great time, having some fun. Hopefully you're dealing with your allergies and things are going well. If you got them, I got them, and they are all up in my grill today. So hopefully you're doing well. And if anybody has some good suggestions, I will gladly take them. So let me know. Inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, Cafe Kubal, 401 South Salina Street, 208 North Townsend Street, 324 West Water Street, 3501 James Street, all in Syracuse, as well as inside of Galisanos Children's Hospital and on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius. Make sure you head out there today to support Cafe Kubal and support local. I want to thank all of our beautiful companies we have here in Central and Upstate New York. The Wildcat Sports Pub, Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, Chick-fil-A Cicero, K9 Camp Dog Daycare, Avicoli's, Honda City of Liverpool, Pizza Man, the Millhouse Market, K9 Campground Dog Boarding, and Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn Popcorn Factory. If you want to get your popcorn ready, you could get it anywhere in the United States by going to maandpaspopcorn.com. They'll ship to you, and you get 20% off if you use my personal code DT20. That's all you got to do at checkout. Go to maandpazpopcorn.com and use my promo code DT20, and you'll get 20% off to enjoy your favorite flavors today, or try it for the first time. So, with that being said, PJ and I are here in hour number 1, as we are every single Thursday, and Papa Joe and I have one final Jacksonville discussion to talk about inside of our trio today, and that is the man, the myth, the mother freaking legend, Tim Tebow. Is he coming home? The Jacksonville gentleman has the opportunity to return to Jacksonville, and he has worked out for Urban Meyer and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, he said that he has not signed Tebow yet, but he talked about the workout. He said Tebow was in the, quote, best shape of his life and approached the Jaguars about working out for them. So Meyer was not at the workout, but his coaches raved about Tebow's performance. Coaches reportedly were impressed with his ball skills and told Urban Meyer that Tebow, quote, looks like he's 18 years old, end quote. So something to be said there. And that's where we sit right now. So the signing could happen, and he'd be playing at tight end, allegedly. Allegedly. And I say allegedly because I have some thoughts on it. But Papa Joe, you and I have talked about this for years. We've wanted it for years. What do you think about the chance that Tim Tebow could finally become a Jacksonville Jaguar?
This was given when Urban took the job. As I told you before earlier, I've mentioned several times, he loves his players. His players are extremely lovable to this guy. He's very loyal to Urban. Tim Tebow is the king Gator of all, period. I remember when Urban Meyer had a press conference down here in St. Augustine, and he says, I am going to recruit the best college player I have seen in 20 years. And he's going to be Tim Tebow, and he's going to University of Florida. And that's what happened. Two titles later, and that's where he is. I mean, he's got, I think Urban says he had 5 or 6 Ohio State and Florida players that are going to have signed up with him. They may not make the team, but they've signed up with him. I'm not sure where I'm going with this. I'd like to think that Tebow will earn his keep, but I mean, they got 6 tight ends. I mean, come on now, and you drafted some, and you signed some, and then you got Tim Tebow coming in here. I mean, the guy he stays in shape. Obviously, you can see him. If you look at the guy, you'd never think he's 33 years old. You're right. I mean, he just looks like he's 25. Of course, he hasn't had his body put through hell. That's not gonna help him. That's not gonna hurt him at all, because he'll be ready to go. He will do whatever Urban wants him to do. Don't be surprised if they throw him a quarterback every once in a while too. But I like the situation. I love Tim Tebow. I mean, any Gator and Jacksonville Jaguar fan would love to see this situation come through. Now, the only thing I got to say is he good enough to make the team? Is he good enough to play if he makes the team?
Yeah.
I don't know that. I don't know the answer to that. I don't. There's no way to measure that. I mean, he's got to go through the camp. He's got to go through the drills. He's got to go through the this and that and this and that. He'll never be out of shape. That I'll tell you. So this shouldn't surprise any of the fans down here. This is something that I said 6 months ago that Urban would do, and he's going to do it. So, plus he's a coach on the field. I mean, the guy's brilliant. He had a hell of a career. I can't wait for that to happen. I just want to see some football, Dan. I want to be able to see. I want to see some camps. I want to see some Jaguar camps. I want to see some inter-squad games. Maybe want to see a preseason game. I just want to see some football, and I want to see how Urban works his magic from the top of Trevor Lawrence all the way down to the very, very, very end of his roster. You're going to see it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, Urban Meyer is putting his stamp on this team, and he knows how to be successful. So, you know, I am confident that he could do it, and hopefully he does it the right way. Greg said, Tebow is a wonderful human being, but rostering him on the University of Florida is much different than rostering him in the NFL franchise spots or super premium. Here's the thing, though, and I got to ask this question, and I'll tell you exactly what I said. Tim Tebow, you can write him down at tight end, but he's not. You could put him wherever you want to put him. Tim Tebow, in a locker room, in a clubhouse, is a game changer. I've told you that Jalen Ramsey, Telvin Smith, Marcel Darius, and Yannick Ngakoue were negatives at times in the locker room. Having something in a locker room that's a virus can kill it. Having faith, undying, unwavering faith in a locker room can save it. Putting Tim Tebow on any team, anywhere, any place, at any time, gives that team the opportunity to pray together and stay together. I don't care if you write him down as your long snapper, your backup punter, your kick returner, your tight end, your fifth string safety. Tim Tebow on this team, mark my words, if he does in fact get signed, he will be under center at some point for some type of trick play. He will be on the goal line somewhere at some point. Urban Meyer knows how to use him. He knows how to win with him. And he knows why he recruited him. This is an easy sell. Tebow doesn't need the money. So you got that. He don't need the money. He's going to play for his coach because he already believed in Urban once. And he became a Heisman Trophy winner. He won 2 national championships. Could have won more. They know how to win together. In the SEC, which is like playing in the NFL to a lot of people. So, they win together. They trusted each other. He said yes once, and I believe he'll say yes again. You can write him down as your tight end, and that can be his predominant place. But the reality of it all is, I said it years ago, and I will echo it today. Having a guy like Tim Tebow inside your locker room with the positivity and the faith and the motivation he gives, the man knows how to win, and he knows, obviously, how to motivate. So you don't lose by getting him in your locker room. So put him, whatever you want to put him on your roster, just get him in the locker room. It's about time. I love it. I think it's great. It doesn't cost a lot, and it makes total sense. And whether he catches 5 passes or 50, having him in your locker room is having more leadership, but as they possibly can, that are healthy and talented. So you got to have Cam, Andrew, Tyler Shatley, AJ Cann, Jawan Taylor, Brandon Linder, Will Richardson, and Walker Little at least. At least. Right. So you got to have that. Your wide receivers, they got about 342 of them right now. You would imagine that this is going to change, but Chark, Marvin Jones, they could cut Marvin Jones. But for argument's sake, I got a gut feeling that they might, and I really like his talent, so, I hope that they don't, but, they got to do what's best for them. DJ Chark, Marvin Jones, Laviska Shenault, Colin Johnson, Philip Dorsett, Jamal Agnew, Jalen Camp. That's 7. If they keep those guys, that's 7. They're not going to keep all those guys. They could, but that's 7 guys right there. I can't imagine that Nathan Cottrell, Devin Azigbo, Dare Ogunbowale, and sorry about that. Yeah, I had a good time with that one. OG, Raquel Armstead and Carlos Hyde. I don't see the Jaguars keeping. I think 3 of those names will be off. So, and then obviously Trevor Lawrence, Gardner Minshew, C.J. Beathard, and Jake Luton. They're not going to keep all 4 of those guys. So, the reality of it all is they're going to be dropping some of these players. So if they say, hey, you know what, we got rid of our 8th string wide receiver to keep Tim Tebow, then I get it. But at the same time, I don't want them saying, hey, you know what, we're going to part ways with Will Richardson on the offensive line to keep Tebow. That's unacceptable. So it's got to make sense for them to do it. They have a ton of defensive linemen. They've struggled there just like they've struggled on the offensive line. Right now, they have Taven Bryan, Adam Gotsis, Doug Costin, Devon Hamilton, Chappelle Russell, Jay Tufel, Daniel Equale, Daniel Ross, Kenny Randall, Malcolm Brown, Roy Robertson Harris, Caleb Chasen, Josh Allen, Jihad Ward, Lorente McCray, who's moved around, Jordan Smith, and Aaron Patrick. So, they're not going to keep all those guys. And they may, let one of their linebackers go as well. So, with Dylan Moses and Dakota Allen, Quincy Williams, and whatnot, that could happen. So, I think when push comes to shove, they just have to make sure they take care of every other area first. I do think Tim Tebow would be great to have in the locker room. I think he'd be great to have on the team, and I think he's a great weapon, especially on the goal line and just in general. And, again, he knows how to win, and Urban knows him, and he knows Urban, and Urban obviously got a lot of good out of him. So I think it's good to happen, but they got to be very careful about how they move around the musical chairs to make it happen.
There's a play that Urban is famous for, and that Tebow led. And it's when he's down by that goal line, Tebow at quarterback, he throws a jump pass
Yeah.
to the tight end in the end zone for a touchdown. I reckon that we're going to see a few jump passes down by the goal line with Tim Tebow. I think that'll be good to see. If he can jump pass it to Chabot in the end zone, it'll be a play they'll use forever and ever. Look for it.
Yeah, and back then it was him and Chris Leak making it happen. Now it'd be him and Trevor Lawrence. So, I think if they could do it right, it could definitely be a workable product and a workable commodity. But I would like to see him there, just because I think he does a lot. I mean, you want to put butts in the seats. You got Travis Etienne, Trevor Lawrence, and Tim Tebow. It's a no-brainer. So I think if they can make it work and make it work in a very positive way, then why not? Why not do it? Why not make it happen? So we shall see as things shake out. With that being said, PJ, appreciate, as always, you taking the opportunity every Thursday to hang out with me here where sports meets that thing called life, and always happy to have you join the show as a consummate professional and just somebody that I appreciate more than words can say. So thank you for all you bring. And I know I saw you a couple weeks ago, but I hope to see you very soon again. And in the meantime, take care of my state for me, my second home. And I'll be talking to you and Miss Mary T very soon.
Yeah, you be sure you give Joe a call.
I will.
All right, thanks, bud.
All right, take care. That coming from Papa Joe here where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. PJ joining us every single Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time minimally. So you're going to get us at least for that amount of time, and definitely cannot thank Papa Joe enough for all the talk, including the talk on the Jaguars and everything that we get to do here on the show. So I very much appreciate Papa Joe for all that he brings to the discussion and for his positivity, his love, and just, this all started once again with him and I sitting at the kitchen table. And it gave you what we have today. So without that, you don't have this. And it's all Papa Joe. The reason why he's here, the reason why he, to me, needed to be on the show was simply because he is who he is. So, it's a beautiful thing when you can tell another human being you are where you are today because of who you are. You're here because I want you to be. And I think that's a beautiful way to share that. And I feel completely honored to have him join us here where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And speaking of joining us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we're going to take a step aside on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora to get set for another person that's joining us, and that is the man Prince-Tyson Gulley. PTG, about to join us right after this fast break to speak on sports and life. So make sure you're tuning in right here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios as we get set for Prince to join us right after this.
Avicoli's Restaurant, located right at the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road, is proud to be your local neighbor, growing with you for over 20 years. We're open 7 days a week for lunch, dinner, and drinks. For takeout, delivery, or catering, call us at 315-622-5100. When you order online and use our promo code AVS10, you will save 10% on your online purchase at myavicolis.com. And make sure to join us monthly for our live on-site broadcasts centered around Liverpool athletics. Avicoli's, your local, trusted neighbor right at the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road.
Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on Facebook Live on facebook.com/livenowdt, and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So, however you're tuning into the show inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, thank you so much for being a part of it. You can get to Cafe Kubal by going to 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 208 North Townsend Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, as well as inside of Galisanos Children's Hospital, and on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York. So make sure you support local today and fill your cup with your favorites this morning and all throughout the day. And, of course, their chocolate chip banana bread, their upstate sandwich, their breakfast sandwiches. So much good at Cafe Kubal. Make sure you jump out there today and enjoy it. With that being said, inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', here in hour number 2, we have my guy PTG, Prince-Tyson Gulley, joining us here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We met each other, obviously, through my coverage of Syracuse football and became friends pretty easily throughout this whole process and have been friends throughout the years. I appreciate him so very much. And he was supposed to be with us a couple weeks ago, had a change in his schedule, and now we're able to have him here on the broadcast today. So it is with great gratitude, appreciation, and a pleasure that Wake Up Call, which is all about where sports meets life, gets to truly live that in a conversation with someone who always brings my motto to life on the broadcast. So let's bring the man in of the hour, Mr. Prince-Tyson Gulley. How are we doing today, sir?
I am doing good, alive and well, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. You know, what I love about our personalities and the way that they click is, you know, off the air, you know, us being on the phone, you know, I'm just like, Prince, and you're like, man. it's just
life is life, man.
Life is life, bro. You know, I guess that's the best way to say it. It's the, you know, it's just life. Life does what it do. Life is life. So, how are you? How are things?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I'm blessed. You know, getting my mental space together. working on a few things. Just really just getting back to getting myself together, man. It's been a journey, man. To say the least, since the last time we talked, I was in California, man. Now I'm back in Ohio. It's been a journey, to say the least, man. But I'm doing good. Doing good.
Yeah, no, and it's good to hear. It's beautiful to hear that you are that you're doing well, and you're back in Ohio. So bring me into that. Talk with me about the move. What happened the last time? My listeners and my viewers heard from Prince-Tyson Gulley. You were out on the West Coast in California. So why'd you make the move? Tell me about the move.
Yeah, honestly, I made the move. I was loving California. It was amazing for me. Honestly, I made the move because I initially thought I had a child, and I moved back to take care of my child and make sure everything is good. But yeah, I mean, that's the reason that I came back to Ohio, to see what's going on with that. Turns out that I am not the father, so at this point now, I'm just trying to figure out whether it's good for me to stay here or just to keep it moving like I plan to do. I got a kind of nomadic mindset, so I still got a couple other places that I want to check out. Looks like the next stop going to be in Virginia, so we'll see, man. But right now in Ohio, I'm just going to get here, work out with some things with some people in the community, train some kids, be positive in the community. Like when I come back to Ohio, it's always just really about family and giving back to my community as possible any way I can as far as the knowledge that I've learned outside of Ohio. So really and truly, that's what brought me back to Ohio. That's why I'm still here, and I'm figuring out, where's the next move, where I'm going. Is it south? Is it back west? Is it trying to figure it out, man, day to day.
Yeah, man. I mean, well, I commend you that in a situation where, you thought you had a child, that you came back to take care of that child, and that, you took responsibility if it be the case. But, what did this whole thing teach you? What did the whole experience teach you about that? And again, I commend you that you obviously made the move, that if you were indeed a dad, that you were going to be there for the child, which I commend that.
Yeah, and that's what it kind of just got my mindset, because I won't lie to you. I just turned 29, so, I still been kind of just doing my thing, living life the best way I know how to do it. So what happened was it just really switched my mindset. It made me speed up how I need to really get things going in my life. And, I learned that I just got to I really just gotta stay focused, about me, and I really gotta do what's best for myself, man. It sounds selfish, it's crazy, because at the end of the day, I want to say that I have a genuine heart and I care about, things outside of myself. But this showed me that, you really gotta stay focused for you. You really gotta just stay aligned with what you got going on. And it's tough, man. You can't really let too many people inside, because it's like, I don't know, as long as I've been living, at least in the I would say my teenage and post-teenage, like where I'm at now, it's just a lot of people who you think that are for you that are truly not for you. You know what I mean? It's just, I learned a lot, man. It's like I said, it's been a growing process. It's been a journey, and I just want to tell people out there too, if they ever have any doubts, which the craziest part is that I never did have any doubts, you just got to make sure you take those DNA test results to get to know, because I never knew. This is all blind, it was blind. It blinded me, but it definitely humbled me. Like, I guess I carry, I'm calm and collected, but, internally I got a little, I think I'm that guy, a little confidence, you know what I mean? But this humbled me. It's just like, anything can happen to anybody. No matter who you think you are, you are what you are. You're nothing more than that. Everybody is really, truly on the same tier, level-wise. We're all human. Money don't make you nothing. Money don't make you anything. and your fame, nothing. Like, anything can happen to anybody. They always say, like, people cheated on Holly Berry. People cheated, so, nothing is safe around here, man. It's a learning process, man. And as ill as I want to feel about it, man, I've been through so much that I can take this on the chin and keep it moving, man. I won't react. I won't give way to anger to this, because I know for a fact that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and I know that I have more to offer as far as what I plan to do with my life. And it's going to take us some time. It's still taking some time. Like, it's my time. It's my time, and I just got to be patient with it. But it's just a whole learning process. It hurts, but I've seen a lot of pain. I've been through a lot of pain, so I'll be able to endure and just keep it pushing.
Yeah, man. Speaking here with Prince-Tyson Gulley, Syracuse Orange running back alum, speaking here with me on sports and life inside the Cafe Kubal studios on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Prince, what made you take the test? What made you take the DNA test? I mean, how long were you taking care of this child before you said, hey, you know what? Just for, like, peace of mind, let me do this. Oh, Prince, can you hear us?
I'm here, yep.
Oh, yeah. No, I was saying, at what point how long were you taking care of the child until you got to a point of, like, I should take the test?
Well, so initially I was in California. The baby was in Ohio. Financially, I was, sending money back and forth. But I really didn't. He was born on the 6th. I didn't come home to Ohio until the end of March. So this is all still fresh. So I was pretty much a month or 2 months as far as being around. But financially, I was doing my due diligence. And yeah, it only really was 2 months while I was here, but that was just how the timeline worked. So it's been about a year and a half. But like I said, I only was financially responsible because I didn't know. And what made me take the test was my mother and my grandmother. They encouraged it. Me, I really thought it was just a no-brainer, 100%. I really didn't have to think about it because, they'll lead you to believe that you're the only one. You feel me? So that's what happened with that situation. And truthfully, that's what it was. My mother told me to do it. I ended up doing it. And honestly, I waited about 2-3 weeks, got the results, and was dumbfounded. Like, this is left field. It came out of nowhere. I'm more than shocked, mortified, to say the least. It's just something I got to take on with. But yeah, that was that's what really made me do it. And it was the best decision. And I kind of argued with my mom, like, I don't need to do it, this and that. But it needs to be done because you really need to know. And then it's funny because as soon as that happened, like, I talked to, I consult with my people, is just you find out stories that have happened for years because people didn't want to take the test because they didn't want to get into the system and want stuff on paper and want government in their business. But they end up raising a kid that was not theirs for years.
Yeah.
For years. So it's just like, I kind of got out of a situation like that, and I really think that, I grew in this process because I really had to turn on a different mindset to come back and be like, all right, this is what I got to do. This is what I have to do. This is what needs to be done. I have to be a provider. All the social roles that, they want fathers to be. You got to be this. You got to be that. So I'm just taking on the challenge. And I will say I kept it out of balance, though, until I got the results. I kept it out of balance. I didn't do overly too much, but I did what needed to be done on my time. And I'm kind of glad I did that because it kind of eases my mind to the point that I didn't get too attached and, caught up in the situation where I'm like, dang, I don't want to leave. And then just to find out like that, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But, like I said at the beginning, life is life, man. This is not the last time that I will come through adversity. This is how you deal with it when you get hit. And that's it. Hey, look, football is life. After you get hit, how you gonna get back up? I just took a hard hit, a blind side hit. Never saw it coming. Boom. Get right back up. Go to the huddle. Next play. That's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, man. You know what? You've been hit by bigger linemen out there. That's how I look at it. So.
That's a fact.
So, I mean, what's your advice to people out there though? Because we live in a world where there's like you said, anything can happen at any given time. Not everybody tells the truth and whatnot. So going through what you went through, what's your advice to men and women out there, in this thing called life?
Honestly, and I'm going to speak more towards just relationship, and I'm not no relationship guru or nothing, but I'm going to just say, like, that you just really got to go into stuff, taking things slowly. Like, I think that we think that in this generation, we know more than what the past generations knew. But one thing they did know that you need to date, you need to court, you need to date, process. You need to kind of limit, your intimacy, and as far as sexual things go, early off in a relationship. You need to really get to know this person because this person has a past just like you do. So you need to really get involved in who the person is, and if you truly want to go certain routes with people. So it's a long process, but if you do that work early in the relationship, you'll start to figure out like if this is the person for you, if they're for you, because you really just never know. And as you learn, you just gotta learn behaviors like throughout the whole thing, because I know for a fact what usually happens is that people get mad and they do dumb things and they make this dumb decision. You just gotta learn behavior. This is a throughout the whole thing, because I know someone let their anger get the best of them, stepped out, did what they wanted to do, never thought anybody would find out about it until the proof came out. So it's just like you really just gotta stay true to yourself. Like, and if you don't want to deal with somebody, if you feel like you need to go cheat on someone while you're in a relationship, then you probably should just let that go. Like, let's just stop playing with people and be honest with it. There's no point. We gotta stop. Even as adults, we gotta stop playing the get back game. You know what I mean? This is a kid game. That's a kid game.
Yeah.
To get back. They hurt me, now I gotta hurt them. Like, someone has to take the higher road. And in this state, and in this situation, that's what I plan to do, because there's no get back for me anyway right now. There's like, I lost. You know what I mean? I lost. So there's really no get back, and that's not my mindset. I'm not thinking like that either. But it's just like, that's the mindset. We had when you have like what I say, when you have like life's ups and downs, like in the down moments is where you find out who, like, it's when true character is revealed. So we that's what happened. Like, in the down moments, the true character was revealed. It came out, and that's just how it is. I mean, but like I said, I encourage people to just do their homework, work at the relationship, work at it in the beginning phases. You know what I mean? Try to cut, physical stuff out first. Try to really work on an emotional, intellectual level. Get to know, what you're dealing with. Because, like I said, I'm 29. It's gonna start getting harder and harder and harder as you grow older to find someone to be like, yeah, all right. This. I know what I want. This is what I want, because this society is changing, for men and women. So it's just like, it's tough, man. You just got to do your homework and put in the work. And if you really want something to happen for you, you just got to put in that time. Like, and that's it. That's all I got, really. That's a lot, but that's all I got.
No, and it's good, man. It's all I'm hearing is way up. I feel blessed. You know what I mean? Like that. You gotta learn. You gotta. And I think it's good for people to hear it. That's why, that's why where sports meets life is my tagline, because people need to hear it in relationships nowadays. And you're speaking so much truth. You know what I mean? Like, everybody jumps in the physical, but they don't know who they're dealing with. And it's like, put it to you like this. If you met somebody today and in the middle of like a zombie apocalypse, and they said, yo, let me in your house, and you're like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, you don't do that. You lock the door. You try to figure out who they are. You keep them outside. You ask them a bunch of questions. You look at their mannerisms. Like you're trying to figure them out. You know, let somebody into the most intimate part of you, that physical side, and you let them into that world and that vulnerability, but you don't know who they are. You got to know who they are, and you're not going to perfectly know who everybody is at any given time. But the thing is, you know, you have to do your due diligence to try to understand who you're dealing with. And I think we get caught, like you said, the older generations got it. You know, we thought our parents and our grandparents were a pain in the butt when they're like, you know, wait until marriage, don't do this, you know, like, get to know her, take it slow, understand who they are, what they're about, watch them, like ask them questions, get to know them, go on dates, you know. And now we're in a microwave society of, I'm going to meet her, I'm going to meet him, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be physical, and then I'll think about it all later. No, you got to think about it first. You know, and you can't, you know, it's like if NASA, okay, I'm going to put it to you like this. If NASA created a spacecraft like we have relationships right now, that thing be blowing up on the way up to the moon every day. Every day. That thing there would be no brace for impact. There'd be no impact. That thing would be blowing up. And, you know, it wouldn't even get off the dang ground. So,
right.
You know, that's reality. You have to protect who you are. You have to protect what you're dealing with. And you have to get to know people. And, you know, there's reasons why you have meetings before you sign partnerships. There's reasons why you have to read through a contract before you sign it when you come to a school or you go to a team. You're supposed to do your homework, do your research, and understand. Now, granted, yes, some people are fantastic liars. Some people are really good at being elusive. You know, the devil speaks out of both sides of their mouth. You know, and the devil knows scripture just like God does. But you know, you got to know the difference between the two. But you know, pretty face, slim waist, bro. I'm telling you, you gotta make sure that you take the time to take the time. And I am as guilty of not focusing in my history as you or anybody else, and I can tell you now that I've refocused my focus, and now I'm focused. So that's good.
Agreed. And you know, it's so crazy you say it, but you know how we talked even last time on the spiritual aspect, and the more I read, you know what I mean, it's just like this society, we really just go against everything that we've ever taught, like wisdom that has been given from the past, from years before we were even a thought. And it's just like, it always, and this is why I say I'm humble, because every time that I go through something crazy in my life, like, and I can always turn back to, like, at least a scripture, or at least my grandmother telling me, my mother telling me, my father telling me that this was already told to me how to move. But I've always lived a hard knock life when it comes to learning a hard lesson. And it's just, but see, now it just get to the point where you get too older, like this, it has to stop. Like, you know, it has to stop. And it really comes down to self-control. And it really, really comes to us as men stepping up, because I feel like we put a lot of things on a pedestal, and we're not really stepping into, claiming our manhood like we need to. Like there's rules to manhood. There's rules to being a gentleman, like, you know, but like what we're finding out now is that society is normalizing things that are just it's incorrect. Like, honestly, I feel sorry for the raising up of this next generation and where the world's going to turn, because it's just like, at least for us, our mindset is like, this world is, everybody is confused. Everyone is confused. In any type of way you can think about it, they're confused about what is, what it should be, what it's been. It's a new day. But it's the craziest thing is that some things don't change. Some things just don't change, all right? You know, we see this, the sun comes up just about every day, whether you see it or not, and it goes down. Some things just don't change. You can correlate that to life any way you want to put it, but some things don't change. Like, some things are put there and set there. Universal laws are put in place for reasons. You know, just and I'm just speaking more of nature and more spiritual on that level. It's just like once we start abiding and getting back toward that type of stuff, we won't have these problems. You know, we these are personal issues that we're dealing with that's causing traumatic experience in our life that can be fixed if we just remember, you know, at least teachings and understandings. But it takes you a long time to understand it. Like, you know, like I said, we normalize casual sex, but in the old days, you know, sex was a privilege. You know, you actually were watched by priests. Like, it was a big thing. Like, you know, you couldn't even be married if you weren't a virgin because you dishonored the family. Like, why stuff like that happened in those days? Because that stuff meant something. Like, it was like, if you bringing someone into your world, like you said. So it's a lot of stuff. Like, and once you start to understand life and you realize stuff, and you're open to other knowledge, you get it. You start to get it. Like, dang, I've been living reckless me personally, even from college days, I've been living reckless for a long time. Like, and that's why another thing that I couldn't really fall too hard about this type of stuff is because I'd be feeling like karma will put you in the right place. I know people don't believe in karma, but it's not even for you to believe in. Some things are just is. There's going to be a reaction, you know, to certain things, and you're going to have to pay for it. Maybe not now, but further down the line, it's going to come. And I just be thinking, like, you know, because I haven't always done right, you know, and I just feel like certain things be karma coming back to help me refocus. Like, listen, you know the truth. You need to get in order. You need to get in line. You need to get yourself right, because this is what happens when you stay off the narrow path, and that's just the truth. And that's how I see it. And like I said, that's why I just take this on the chin, move forward. I have to look into, you know, what I want as a man when it comes for the woman that I want to choose. And really, that's the truth. But it has to start by me owning up to my manhood and doing what I need for myself. And then the rest will fall in its place.
Drop the mic. I mean, like, I feel that. I feel all that. You know, coming here from Prince-Tyson Gulley this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. That's life. You know, that you're describing life, man. I mean, like you said, you don't have to believe in karma. She don't care if you believe in her or not. She coming. Like, and the reality is that people say karma's a B, and I was like, karma's only a B if you hit her. If you love her, you hug her, she good. Like, she's fine. Like, I mean, if you're good, you know, every time I see Karma, I'm like, Karma, what up, girl? How you doing? What do you need? You all right? You know what I mean? Like, but that's karma. Karma is only, I mean, again, what'd you say?
What you make it, because it's good karma and it's bad karma. Like you said, you punch on that bee's nest, them bees gonna come out like, what you doing? That's karma for you.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like if I'm going over there saying, hey, bees, thanks for making my honey. I appreciate you. Carry on, do your business, because I love the honey in my tea, so we're good. I'm all right. Then we're fine. We're fine. Yeah. But if
they might just have it ready for you every time you come through. They might just have it ready for you next time. That's good karma.
Right. You know what I mean? That's good. But if you go over there, you know, like you said, boxing that bee's nest, like, you're an idiot. Don't ask for it. So, you know, it's just... reality is, if you play with fire, you get burned. People talk, you know, I think it's funny, and I just had this conversation about how people say, oh, cliche this, cliche that. Cliche is just another word for a correct statement. That's what cliche is. It's a word for a correct statement. If you play with fire, you get burned. Yes, true. You know, like it's like the early bird gets the worm. Yes, true. Like, I mean, there's, it's just, these statements are real. They're cliche, but they're real. And, you know, it is how you treat, don't spit into the wind. What you put in, you eventually get out. Dan, how come all these people doing bad things are succeeding, and how come I'm struggling? Trust that the God that I believe in will take care of you, and your riches are going to be in heaven more than they're ever going to be here. But trust that it will work out. Things work out. My mom told me one time, this one guy, there was a person that I knew just did me dirty, was just nasty about the way he went about his business and the way that he treated me as a professional. My mom looked at me, she said, mark my words, a year from now he will not have his job. It was 8 months, and she looked at me and she goes, I'm not going to tell you I'm right, because I already know. Like that, I mean, and that's, it's because you see evil prosper and you say to God, why is evil prospering? God's like, listen, it's not your job to question me. It's not your job to ask me why. It's your job to do the best you can. And in a fantastic quote by Will Smith in the song Just the Two of Us that I take with me every single day, it's the quote, people in life are going to make you mad, disrespect you, and treat you bad. Let God deal with the things they do, because hate in your heart will consume you too.
Man, hey, you heard what I said earlier. Do not give way to anger.
Yeah.
You know, what my favorite quote from Bruce Lee. He said, one day the anger will get the best of you. And that's what he said. So it's just like, you really, it's self-control. It's all about that, you know, because the stuff that if I did everything I thought about, probably won't be alive, probably won't be out here, you know what I mean? Probably won't be, it's just, you have to control those and put those into something else. Like, some people have working out, some people have music, some people have art. You know, whatever it is for you, that's the true therapy. You got to find something to re-put that into, because if you let it consume you, you're going to turn into someone that you won't even be able to recognize, you know? So it's important. It's important. You have to have some self-control, and that takes time, like, because, you know, it just comes with time. Because I know my self-control at 19 is totally different than what it is today. You know, I'm definitely going to react different if I heard something at that point than when I would hear it today. When the only thing I ever think about is, like, what do I have to gain from this? That's the first thing I think about. What do I have to gain from this? Like, I can be mad. I can go want to, you know, get active and get into some fights or whatever, but what do we gain from that? We gain nothing from that. More trouble, more problems, you know, and that's not what we're here for, you know. So I just think about it like, I done gave so many passes, like, and just kept it moving, but honestly, that's probably really what's kept me alive for the time that I have been alive, because it's just like, you gotta look at it like that. You can't give away to your anger, because you're gonna be in trouble every time. You're gonna be in trouble.
You know, and that's the thing. You know, is like you said, you can't give way to anger. You know, you can't let your emotion get the best of you, and it's so true to look back on things in your life and say, like, you know, I've grown, and you should be better than when you were 19. I should be better than when I was 19. You should always be better today than you were yesterday, you know, but not as good as tomorrow. You know, that's how it should be. You know, we've been through a lot. You know, you have stuff in your life, you know, Prince, I have stuff in mine. You have stuff in your life that was adversity that, you know, is on you because you let it happen, or you let it seep in, and you let it be a part of it when you didn't have to. You got stuff in your life that was adversity that you had no control over. I have adversity in my life that my parents, my people that love me, look at me and say, listen, you had complete control over telling that person, get out. So, you know, I mean, there's stuff that we bring into our lives that we could have prevented, and there's stuff that, you know, happens in our life that we can't prevent. And, you know, what I've learned in 35 years is why, if life is already going to challenge you and life is already going to give you adversity, why help it? Why help it? Why give it another thing?
I like that. Yeah.
You know, like, adversity gonna come. You know, why make it come sooner, or why make it come at all, or why make it, you know, be double time? It's adversity will reach all of us. Why bring it towards you? Like, we'll all have somebody die that we love, but, you know, like, you know, that's just how life is. You live long enough, you see some people that you love no longer here, and so it's like, okay, so that adversity is going to happen, but you don't take you and all your friends and go to a bad neighborhood and put yourself in a situation to have that happen today. So, exactly. You know, it's like, it's where you go and it's what you bring. Man, I'm so close to God, and I love God so much that He whispered in my ear a while back about somebody that was in my life. and the way that they acted was something that I had seen, and it was a mistake that I knew very well, and God whispered in my ear, let them go home. Like they want to go home, let them go. Let them go. Just let them go. And I said to God, no, I'm gonna let them stay. I got this. And he went, oh, oh, you do. and then the entire time of dealing with this person, he kept looking at me going, imagine what life had been like if you let them go 3 days in like I told you to. So, and I felt that. I felt the weight of that. So I felt the weight of that. I felt the weight of God going, I told you to tell them to go, and you didn't listen to me. And so all the stress that you've had for the last 5 weeks, yeah, okay, they shouldn't have done it, but you allowed that adversity in your life. You allowed that to happen. And when I told you no, you said yes, and you did what you wanted to do. You didn't listen to me. So do I want you to be in pain? No. But did you put yourself in a situation where you accepted the pain? You did. And so the stress that you have in your life right now, it's your job to get it out.
Exactly. And that's all it is. That's all it ever is. You just gotta get yourself out of here. Gotta get yourself out of here because you know what you've done. And that's self-accountability. You see all this self-care, self-accountability, self-control. You gotta get self together or you will be no good for anybody. Yeah. Let alone yourself.
Well, that's the thing. That's where I am now. Like healthy mind, healthy body. I heard it all the time. Healthy mind, healthy body, healthy mind. And I was just like, laying in bed, not doing anything, eating my chips, not working on my mental. And then I got hit with life before everybody got hit with Corona. I got hit with life before that. And I spent the last year plus working on my life, working on me, working on my mind, working on my body. And now my body's never been healthier. My mind has never been more clear, but I keep working. You got to keep at it. And, it inspires other people, but it inspires me to be in a place where I'm not looking for somebody to protect my mental. I'm not looking for somebody to give me a magic pill for my six-pack in my body. I'm not looking for somebody to rise me out. Like God and I did this, him and I. He's always been there. I said, God, I need to do more. He said, all right. I said, I'm going to walk. He said, okay. I said, will you walk with me? He said, you already know. And that was it. And then 250 days go by in a row, and boom. And and then people say, man, you look good. I mean, I had somebody, and I went out to a restaurant, and this one lady, we were talking to her because she reminded us of, like, her mom reminded me of my grandma, and her taking care of her was like how my mom did. And so we said hello to this old woman, and she was really sweet. And then the lady, her daughter, looked at me, probably in her 40s or 50s, and she looked at me and she goes, what sport do you play? And I was like, oh, word? So, like, but, like that feeling of, like, and quite recently, shout out to some people I talked to recently. They're like, man, I don't understand. Like, Dan, you can eat. You can definitely hold your own, eat. You can put it away, but I don't know where you put it. And so, but it took a lot of work to get there because I knew where I was putting it about a year ago. A couple of years ago, I saw where I was putting it. So, like healthy body, healthy mind, taking care of yourself, taking care of your mental. We want so badly for God to give us the woman or the man we're supposed to be with. But how many of us are working to be ready for it?
Ooh, now you're preaching, brother.
So if you ain't ready, he ain't gonna give it to you because he's not gonna have you mess up a good thing.
Yeah, man, that's a fact. That is a fact. You gotta prepare yourself for it, man. And once again, that's just like everything in life. You're not going into a football game unprepared now, are you?
Right.
You're not trying to be in the Final Four or make it to, anywhere and you're not preparing yourself, are you? You're doing yourself a disservice. That's what I'm telling you. Because you're not going to be ready. And if you're trying to learn through it, be ready for the ups, the big ups and the big downs because they come.
Yeah. And that's the thing, man. Like you You gotta listen again. Life is going to give you its tests. Life is going to give you its adversity. Don't help it. Be prepared. Be prepared as best you can. And understand this. If you don't take the test that God gives you, He gives you the same test over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until you take it.
Yes, but how? You know what's so crazy? In different forms.
Yes. Whoa. But you always know. It always hits you at some point. You're like, oh, yep. 2 years ago I didn't do this, and now it's here. Like, you don't know until you know it. But when you say to God, yeah, I'm good. I don't need to take that test. You can't do that in school. You can't say, you know what? I'm not going to take the test, and everybody else is going to take the test, but I'll pass the course. No. If you want to pass the course, you take the test. If you don't take the test, He's going to keep giving it to you until you take it. And He wants you to take it. You might not get the grades you wanted, but you have to take the test because you have to learn. You cannot pass. It's like any video game. Yeah, there's cheat codes and whatnot, but what do you get out of that? If you don't know how to beat the level, you can't go to the next one. God's going to keep you on level 1 until you decide to get to level 2. That's life. You can't simulate life. You can't cheat code life. You can't. There's no code. There's no like TCXYB7, the letter K. I mean, you can't put in any code in the video game of life and cheat code it. You have to live it. Man, I love having you on the show because you inspire me. Like all this stuff coming out of my mouth, I didn't think of an hour ago, but you inspire me to do it because you and I always talk about, yeah, we met through football, but we talk about life. We talk about music. You know, we talk about poetry and motion. Like everything about our conversations is real because you know what? Somebody's going to listen to this going through a situation right now, and God willing and God bless, we're going to help somebody deal with something today because you and I dealt with it and we weren't afraid to talk about it.
Yeah, we can't be, and that's another thing too. You know, as men, we need to have these discussions as men with each other. As men, like, you know what I mean. I'm not including anybody. We need to have these as men. It's like, I think that we get into that. You know, don't get me wrong, the masculine about us, but we need to open up and let people know that, you know, we got feelings too. We really do. And we just need to put it all together to make it make sense for all of us because we've all been through some stuff that really tested us, you know, and at the hardest point. So you should be able to call a friend of yours, a buddy of yours, and they should be able to see you eye to eye about what you're going through and be able to help you through it, build you through it, because what we do know that it is only a lesson, you know, a lesson and a blessing, however you can look at it, you know, and that's it, man. We gotta have these conversations, man. It's healthy for us. It's healthy for us. You can't hold it in. I'm saying that because I'm the type of person that I've been holding in stuff from 2003. You know that I know that's not healthy. But you have to talk to people about it. You have to open up to people about it. You know, be comfortable with that because it doesn't make you any less than a man. It makes you a real human. You've been through stuff, just like everyone has been through. You can help someone, you know, get through this. How did you get through it? Like, how did you put it together? You know, this is what this is for. And honestly, I appreciate you for just allowing me to be a part of your platform, man. We always do talk good stuff, but, you know, it's good conversation, and I hope people do take it for what it's worth because honestly, if you're not trying to help nobody out here, then what's your true purpose in life? You want to get yourself together as one, but as soon as you find self and understand you, only thing that's ever going to tell you is that you need to push that on other people, and not push it in the sense where you're just drilling people, but you know, just give people tips, advice, like, you know, it doesn't cost nothing to tell somebody that, you know, you can make it through this. You will make it through this. You know, you're stronger than that. You're stronger than this. You know, you've been through that, but because, like I said, it's never going to stop. I'm going to go through another hurdle. You know, but this time I'm prepared. I'm prepared for the hurdle I just went over. It's tough. This is how I can bounce back on it. You got to prepare yourself mentally. mentally, and that's a day-to-day thing. That's not, taking a break at it. Health is wealth, as you already said. Health is wealth. And not fully overexerting yourself to achieve, money and all of this stuff. If you focus on your health, all of this stuff that you want or you desire in life will come to you. And it's a true fact, because that's just attraction, law of attraction. Once you start putting out that good energy, that's all you're going to get back. And when you get bad energy, you're going to be able to recognize it, and you're going to be able to deal with it how you want to deal with it.
Right. And appreciate it.
If you want to deal with it.
Right. And appreciate it and not be afraid of it. You know what I mean? Like, we want it. We want that good so bad, but we deal with the bad before we get to the good. And by the time we get to the good, we're so worried about it and we're fretting about it. We're sucking it. No, man, just enjoy it. Don't let somebody that beat you once beat you twice. Like, I mean, you know that from football. You know that. You lose to Notre Dame. You got Pitt next week. You can't lose to Pitt because you lost to Notre Dame. Let Notre Dame go. Yeah, it sucked. Yeah, it was tough. Yeah, it wasn't fun. Yeah, it made you feel a certain way. But that's done. You got to move forward. People, we want the good. You got to go through hell to get there, right? Walt Disney created Disney World by buying a bunch of no man's swampland in Florida. He took the nasty, unlivable earth that was there and turned it into, arguably, right, the greatest company ever. So, I mean, it's like, you have to take the swampland. You don't like the swampland. You don't like putting the work in, having to take all that stuff out and move this and move that, and then put the concrete down and get all these things, the waterways and the water, and making sure that that's working and run the cable. Nobody wants to do all that stuff. Everybody, people go to Walt Disney World. What do they think? This thing just appeared. This castle just fell from the heavens, and God was like, "Here you go, Walt. Great job." No, Walt was damn near broke all the time, and he was told 700 plus times that this was a stupid idea. It was never going to work. He didn't have people investing like crazy in a year-round amusement park. He's the richest dead man ever, but it's because he believed in himself and he went through it. And as many times as he heard no, he was hoping for yes. And when he got to yes, he created his yes. And when he got it, he appreciated it, and he lived in it, and he enjoyed it, and so now people will enjoy it forever. You want to talk about something about success? That man has been dead for years. His company has only gotten better. So
thrived.
Right. So, but that's reality. We want the good. We want the good, but we don't want to put the work in to get there. You put the work in. You put the blood, sweat, and tears in to get there. And once you get there, man, when she tells you she loves you, man, eat that up. When he tells you he loves you, eat that up. When you get that job you want, eat that up. When you get that touchdown, eat that up. Don't think about all the times you didn't score. When you get in the end zone, man, I would smack you. Yeah, I love you like a brother. I would smack you if you told me the first time you got in the end zone, you were thinking about all the times you didn't. I'd be like, bro, we're in the end zone right now. Let's dance. Wait, what are we doing? So,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, life is not about getting in the end zone. Life is about the journey there. It's about the man that's made. It's about the woman that's made by getting to that end zone. And when you get to that end zone, you got to appreciate it. You have to enjoy it. And you have to build a plan to continue to get there. It's not good enough to want the end result. You have to work for it. There is not a successful person on this planet that focused on the end but didn't focus on the beginning, the middle, and everything in between. You have to be devout in understanding that if you want God to give you a gift, you need to earn the right to get it. You don't just get it. It doesn't just happen. And when it comes to you, enjoy it. Don't live in the past and don't bring that baggage with you, man. There's a reason why they tell you that you can take a carry-on and one personal item. If we brought the baggage that we had, some of us have, if we were carrying that baggage around, we brought that on a plane, there wouldn't be any seats on the plane. They would have room for all of our luggage. We'd be weighing down planes like crazy. You take one personal item and one carry-on. You can't take 16 bags. So leave the baggage, drop it off. You don't need all them clothes for your 8-day trip. You don't need a wardrobe of 65 different choices for 8 days. So go down to Florida, enjoy it, pack a little bag with your 8 days worth of clothes, and live life that way. There's so many things that we do to prevent ourselves from being happy, and we blame everybody else. Start looking at yourself. start getting ready so when God blesses you, you can appreciate it, enjoy it, and live in it, because it is beautiful when it comes to you, but you got to be able to notice it and you got to be able to appreciate it when it gets there.
Indeed. Agreed, brother. Agreed.
Man, I'm going to talk to you every day. That's life changing. But
Hey, I'm about to come in. You still in the queues, right?
yeah, man, I'm up here.
I'm gonna have to come up there, man, and really get on this show, man. You might have to put me on once a week.
Well, I mean, dude, that's the thing. And listen, I got rooms in the house like you good. So like, there's, you come.
Hey, man, for real though, that's like we talked about the other time. The reason why I didn't want to talk about everything else, man, I haven't been following sports as much, man. I gotta get back to it, man. I ain't gonna lie, I took a long time just not watching anything, bro. I just couldn't stomach it because I felt like I should have been out there. That's another story, but whatever. You feel me? So it's just like I stopped watching it though. But I will say, like, about everybody that has been drafted, everybody that's doing their thing that came from Q's, I support it. I want that tradition to stay alive, and I want it to uprise because I went there. I want to always be able to be like, yeah, like, talk. I want to be able to talk crazy about the Q's. I like really reckless to people about the football program. Like, look, y'all can't beat us. Like, y'all. I want to talk like that. I live in Ohio. The dream is going to Ohio State. Do you know how cocky Ohio State people are?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know how they're cocky they are? It's crazy.
OHIO. I know.
It's crazy. So it's like I want that same energy, man. But yeah, like we can definitely do it, man. I'm here, man. I can be on it, man. I support your show, and I've always supported what you're doing. That's why I'm only tied into you. I only really accept your calls when it comes to any media outsource, because I'm really not doing that anymore because I don't trust people no more. I really don't trust at all. So it's just like, yeah, I know you're going to do good by the situation, and you mean well. So we're always going to have a good convo.
Yeah, man, I love it, and I appreciate those compliments, and, it means the world to me that you trust me because you can. So in a final note here, I flip the script. People know it. Rapid fire. It flips on you getting the opportunity to host the show for a second here. So 3 questions. Any 3 questions you can ask me. We've had a very awesome conversation about life, and so whenever you're ready, you can ask me anything you want. It can be about literally anything in the world, but you got the mic for the next 3.
Ask you anything I want. Let me see. Dang. Oh, I'm gonna ask you some bizarre questions.
I know it. I know you are, bro.
Hey, let's go. If you can have any superpower, what would you want?
Well, there's a TV show that I created in college that's not been done yet, and I would definitely want the superpower in that if I had to choose. In that one, in the one that I created, yeah, because it's crazy. I'll tell you about it. But I would tell you that I want to be able to teleport, because there's people that I care about that I need to just be able to get to and see them for a second. So I want to be able to teleport. I want to have my angel wings, and I want to be able to fly. And I'm probably gonna pick another superpower. I probably. Well, I kind of said like the Falcon because I love the new Captain America. So I said flight, but and that show is awesome. So and shout out to my guy Anthony Mackie, the actor. Like, what a long road to get to where he is, and I'm super proud of him.
Great.
He's awesome, and he's super funny. So I would say flight. I would say teleportation. I want to pick one more. Probably. I always liked Remy LeBeau from. I always liked Gambit. I like playing cards with my grandma.
I like Gambit too. Oh my god.
Yeah, like playing War with my grandma. So I would love to like ignite those cards and throw the cards. That'd be really. I used to do that as a kid. I would when I was Gambit, I'd have like cards and I'd throw them, and so I would love to have Gambit superpower because I liked him a lot.
Okay, I like that. Let me see one more. If you can only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would that be?
You know, I go back and forth on this, but if you get me some good, if you give me some good shrimp and you give me a plate of like 60, I'm gonna eat them and still be hungry. So probably shrimp.
You said what?
Shrimp.
Shrimp. Okay.
Yeah, if you gave me like 60 shrimp on a plate, I would eat them, not feel bad about it, and then probably like have some more later. So I love shrimp. There's a thing that like people that know me because they see me in the water and I can be in the water all day, and the way that like I swim and I can stay underwater for a really long amount of time, they believe that I'm like from Atlantis. So the fact that I eat shrimp and can stay in the water all day, I probably was at some point underwater. I would probably, Jason Momoa's got to call me for Aquaman 2 because I think I need a spot in that movie. What's your last one?
All right, cool. All right, last one. This would be, who is your celebrity crush from any time period?
Man, this one is so easy for me. It just like,
whoa,
it is. It just pops right out. It's Jennifer Aniston. So
Jennifer, she's bad. I ain't gonna lie, I like her. Along Came Polly. That's my movie right there.
yeah, you gotta see the movie. Just Go With It. That's a good one too.
Go with it.
Yeah.
Okay. She's bad, man. She got better as she got older. Whoa.
Yeah, so she's, it's got to be Jennifer Aniston, man. So
I support that.
so don't get me in trouble. So that coming from Prince-Tyson Gulley here on Wake Up Call.
Bad.
No, you good. You're all right. I can edit. So, but no, all jokes aside, Prince-Tyson Gulley here with us. Prince, I got an idea. So be close to your phone today. I'm gonna call you later. I got a thought. So I'm gonna send you my thought. But I loved having you on here as always. I'm so happy that you are closer to me now, being in Ohio. You just got to inch a little bit farther so we can hang out more. But I'm honored by the conversation. I'm honored by your life and what you do. I've always felt connected to the person that you are. And I love you like family, so we'll have a talk today. We got a lot coming up, but I love you, love the family, love Tonio, and got to talk to him when he was doing his thing with Navy. So there's a lot of good, and I look forward to all that is to come and to talking with you soon.
Absolutely, man. I'll be here. I'll be right by my phone, man. Just give me a shout.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you.
All right.
Take care. That coming from Prince-Tyson Gulley this morning, where sports meets that thing called life, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. We're going to take our final step aside of the show. Just get moved by stuff, We have conversations on this show that are just different. Like, I really hope you tell your family, your friends, your coworkers, and colleagues to listen because, this show is, when people ask me, how are you different? How is the show different? Why is the show different? Everything about it is different. These conversations are just, I pray that they're anointed. I pray that God is I believe that God is always watching over me and always here. And it's just, man, there's so much to this. There's so many layers that I really hope you get them. So we'll take a step aside for our final fast break. We'll come back and wrap up the show right after this.
Cafe Kubal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office, ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafekubal.com. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, located on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, is home to over 40 flavors with more than 200 flavors in their total wheelhouse. Sky's the limit for this sweet and savory Central New York company. Keep it local at your parties, fundraisers, wedding showers, baby showers, and more by calling 315-450-MA-PA. That's 315-450-6272 for popcorn bars with custom flavors and colors at your upcoming event. Make sure to visit them on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. And for more information, go to maandpazsnacks.com. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you? The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13, is worth the drive every time. Make sure you find your way out to the Millhouse Market, but first, download their app on the Google Play or Apple App Store. It is extremely user-friendly. It has a map on how to get there, and so many easy things to go through the menu and just search and find everything that you need. They make it easy, and it is effortless to find. The toughest thing you're going to have with the Millhouse Market is choosing between all of the great things that they have, because you don't know. You want a pizza, but you want the rice bowl, but you want the quinoa bowl, but you want the salad, and now you want a sandwich. Oh, no, I'm just going to go get a treat, some dessert. There's so many things on their menu. I was up there yesterday, folks. I put my money where my mouth is, and you should too. Open Tuesday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. They have 3 ways to interact with them. The drive-thru, where you could just grab your food and go. The general store, where you could support local businesses outside of just the Millhouse Market by buying local syrups and local honeys and local clothing and all these different things. They're made local soaps and whatnot, local seasonings, which I just got one from there as well. And they have their indoor dining that you can go in their restaurant and sit down and enjoy it there. So make sure you head out to the Millhouse Market Tuesday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. There's nothing like it. That is why they are absolutely, positively worth the drive every time to 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York. With that being stated, inside the Cafe Kubal studios, PJ and PTG joining the show today. Big thanks to Prince-Tyson Gulley. I'm happy that we got to reschedule with him and get him on the broadcast, and the fact that we have Papa Joe every single Thursday means the world to me. So shout out to PJ and for all our Jaguars talk and life, and shout out to PTG for all of our talk about life as well. Wake Up Call is different. It is where sports meets life, and we just let conversations be what they are. I am honored, I am privileged, and I am thankful for all of the good that everybody brings that has graced the stage. I'm thankful for my listeners. I'm thankful for my readers. I'm thankful for my viewers and supporters in general, and of course the people that come out to our live events and support our local companies and support all of the companies that support us. Thank you so much. For those of you that go to Carvel DeWitt, that go to Cafe Kubal and the Wildcat Sports Pub, and Chick-fil-A Cicero, and Honda City of Liverpool, and Avicoli's, and Canine Camp Dog Daycare, and Pizza Man, and Millhouse Market, and Canine Campground Dog Boarding, and Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. Make sure you go to maandpazpopcorn.com and use my promo code DT20 for 20% off. You do not want to miss out on that, and so make sure you do that. Go to maandpazpopcorn.com in any one of the United States, as well as in-store pickup here in the community, and use DT20 online. That's DT20 for 20% off. You can search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora archive, and you can get all of our shows on MixLR, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, Podbean, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, as well as YouTube. And I'll be putting shows up today, including the one here with Papa Joe, as well as the one with Prince-Tyson Gulley, so don't miss out on that. And, of course, you can be the first to get to us by going live with us every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT and on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, as well as on MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT and on WakeUpCallDT.com. I appreciate you. I thank you for being here. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is available to you by going to Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, Twitter at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. Very, very easy for you to jump in on that and connect with us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and of course on WakeUpCallDT.com, so make sure you do that. In the meantime, have a fantastic day. Work to be the best you can be. Don't just ask for the blessings, get ready for them. And as always, God bless, no stress, do your best. I'll talk with you soon. Be good, everybody.